Transformational Teaching in the Information Age, Making Why and How We Teach Relevant to Students by Thomas Rosebrough and Ralph G. Leverett.
Thomas Rosebrough is Executive Dean of the College of Education and Human Studies at Union University and Professor of Education. His academic studies include pedagogy and engaging students, educational philosophy and ethics, and the history of education. He has taught elementary students through doctoral student candidates in public and private schools. Transformational Teaching is one of 3 books he has published on the philosophy of education.
Ralph Leverett is Program Director for the Masters of Education program at Union University and Professor of Special Education. He has taught students at all levels in public and private schools. He is also a speech-language pathologist.
The key questions of the book include: why do we teach? Who do we teach? What fundamental roles do teachers play in the classroom? Why should teachers place students at the center of their teaching? And how do students learn?
The Whole Child Initiative, fostered by ASCD, embraces the principle that teaching core subjects to meet academic goals is not enough for teaching students to achieve lifelong success.
For the past 50 years, there has been an increase in the need for students to be academically prepared in school, especially the subjects included in STEM: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The goal in schools has switched from teaching students to become moral citizens to preparing themselves to be economically stable in this ever-changing world. The focus of schools has been to feed students information rather than letting them discover it for themselves through problem solving and exploration.
The arrival of the information age in our country has put an increased demand on standardized testing and succeeding for the grade rather than the understanding. Rosebrough suggests transformational teaching might thus be seen as an antidote to an intense focus on informational teaching in modern education.
The authors Rosebrough and Leverett propose a return to schooling where education begins with learners and their transformation, where the student-teacher dynamic is spotlighted, where the academic and social are meant to be connected and combined, and where the social is once again joined with spiritual meaning and transcendence.
As teachers, we must begin by asking ourselves first the question, why do we teach? For many, we teach to inform students, but we also teach to inspire and change lives for the better. Transformational teaching aims to meet the needs of the whole person through both academics and heart. It believes that teaching is about helping students find self-fulfillment through enriching knowledge, holism, and depth of learning. The transformational pedagogy model is defined as an act of teaching designed to change the learner academically, socially, and spiritually.
This figure displays the transformational pedagogy model and its relationship between the learner and 3 categories of educational goals: academic, social, and spiritual. Transformational pedagogy combines teaching the whole student rather than separating these goals. The academic, social, and spiritual goals are unified when we pay close attention to whom we teach and why we teach.
Transformational teaching begins with placing the student at the center and holding high expectations for achievement. Students need teachers who believe and communicate in all of their potential. Transformational teaching includes a concern for a person's ultimate welfare and potential. There is no formula for holistic teaching or transformational teaching. Holistic education comes from the relationship built by sensitive teachers using curriculum and teaching methods accommodating the academic, social, and spiritual needs of the learner. Miller says that holistic education is based on the premise that each person finds identity, meaning, and purpose in life through connections to the community, to the natural world, and to spiritual values such as compassion and peace.
Transformational teaches focuses on process rather than product. If the focus is on the process and it is effective, we are able to create whatever product or outcome we are aiming for. Inspirational teaching and effective process in the classroom can lead to the development of strategic qualities. Strategic learning qualities include openness, skepticism, civility, persistence, imagination, and curiosity. Each of these qualities promotes deep understanding, intellectual processing, achievement of a love of lifelong learning, and focus on process rather than product. Strategic learning qualities teach students how to learn effectively. Teachers can help to create more independent learners as a result of students developing these learning qualities.
This model recognizes that the focus on education must be more than just informational teaching or the transferring of facts. It holds the expectation that students become lifelong learners equipped with the skills and attitudes needed to face challenges in the future. The model extends the critical components of the social and spiritual, allowing for growth and understanding beyond facts and traditional applications. It is an education that cares about students and values their development.
When we teach students at any level, including the higher education level, we are teaching what one poet described as an indestructible essence. We are teaching more than a physical body in a classroom. We are teaching an eternal spirit with so much potential. It can be a very cold world out there, wherever that is, out there. But if one has a teacher or a principal who really cares about the individuality, about the human potential of the students who are in that classroom or in that school, it makes all the difference in the world, and that will never change in education.
Education aims to create engaged and motivated lifelong learners for the future. William Butler Yeats said, "Education is not filling of the pail, but lighting of the fire." Instead of feeding students with information, we must inspire them. Content alone will not create passionate learners, nor will it develop students' sense of connectedness to their learning process or their communities. Education seeks to bring relevance and meaning into the lives of students.
Student and teacher feelings are vital for educational success. Neurobiological studies show that we remember what we feel. Learning and memory formation are prompted by episodes, places, and our emotional reactions. Emotion is what often motivates us to learn. It prompts curiosity to explore a subject. Capturing student emotions and inspiring them has not only academic but also social and spiritual benefits. Self-fulfillment is a liberating part of education, perhaps the most important purpose of education. As teachers, we want our students to be successful. Well-chosen words of encouragement and persistence can lead to the success of students.
Motivation and hope are key elements of this success. Teachers are called to activate the spiritual essence in every learner. Without our spiritual essence, we are machine-like products. The foundation of spiritual dimension consists of trust and respect between the student and the teacher.
We teach to change the learner, and we have not taught unless learning has taken place. Often teachers can walk away feeling confident in their instruction and lessons. A quiz or check for understanding can show that sometimes students did not grasp the material regardless. Teaching, especially if it is transformational, must be more than just presenting.
It is important to acknowledge the difference between an instructional paradigm and a learning paradigm. An instruction paradigm places subject matter first and worries about standardized outcomes. The learning paradigm sees knowledge as how our individual experience shapes it. It also places the learner at the center. When teachers focus on a learning paradigm, they use connections between content and student experiences to make learning meaningful and personal. The focus of the learning paradigm is on the overall process, not the product or the outcome.
In order for learning to occur, we need to know how students learn. When students are placed at the center, we can better understand where they are at in their learning. Good teaching understands how students learn and how we can differentiate our instruction to ensure what must be taught. It also uses heart to understand why we are teaching and create an environment that values each individual learner.
Creating relationships in which students believe that they are cared for is the foundation of transformational teaching. The student-teacher relationship is the most essential element when practicing transformational teaching. Holistic education comes from a relationship built by sensitive teachers using pedagogy attuned to the academic, social, and spiritual needs of learners.
The relationship between the teacher and the student helps to maintain student-centered learning as well as the proper amount of trust and respect to help the students feel comfortable. In education, the spiritual dimension of relationship between teacher and student, a zone of caring communicated by a transformational teacher. The foundation of this spiritual dimension consists of trust and respect.
In transformational teaching, teachers need to take on a role of the facilitator and a form of guidance for their students. The whole teacher must take on a triad of roles. First, the teacher-scholar is confident in their knowledge and passionate about their subject. Second, teacher practitioners use methods that effectively engage all learners. And finally, the teacher leaders care and attend to their students socially and spiritually. The small area of overlap is where we will find the transformational teacher.
When you're dealing with people-focused education, you teach not only to academic goals, but also to social and spiritual goals.
When Doctors Rosebrough and Leverett wrote their book, Transformational Teaching, what's in that book came from them teaching faith and ethics.
It's not just about the knowledge. We hope the impact that they have is that they can be difference makers wherever they are.
We're ingraining in these students that they are cared for and they are loved and they're important.
Teachers who can combine the scholar, the practitioner, and the relator together are the stars of the classroom. They're the ones that need to be rewarded in our society. They care. They don't just teach to inform, they teach to inspire. Those are the kinds of teachers that we seek to prepare at Union University.
When we understand how students learn and engage them in their learning, they begin to take responsibility for their own learning. It is important that students take responsibility and understand how to learn. We don't know what the future will bring, therefore we want to create independent, lifelong learners.